I'll tell you what I'm doing here. Just demonstrating another trick. It would be better if we all had the facility of a Phineas Newborn Jr. or any of the, Paul Smith or any of the really masters of the keyboard, but not all of us do. We may 6 years from now, but you probably don't, or you wouldn't be bothering with this cassette instruction. But there are certain things that are very easy to do, and you can put them to work early. And this is one of them. Or just, you take any 4 notes you want. It can be these 4 notes, or these 4. Doesn't matter. Make it easy on yourself. But let's just stick with this one. We're in E flat, let's see. Now you practice at first, you may sound like this. But if you can practice even when you're at the beach, put your hand on a seashell or something and go, and then when you make that fast sort of horse galloping movement, or sound I should say, on notes, or just, it would be better if we could all do dazzling things like the Gershwin thing. But you probably haven't gotten to that yet. But you can do something that fools people into thinking you're playing with that degree of facility, and if you employ this gimmick, for example, sometimes when I'm finishing up, let's say, an 8-bar phrase, it'll come out like this. And you can combine it with a handful of notes you bite off, for example. In other words, you're going, and then when you get to here, here's where you do that trick. Or in another chord. See how much of that was, and the notes go by so fast that people won't realize you're doing that really simple thing. And so forth. But again, the simple thing is, and practice it so you can do it this fast. I'll play a pretty song for you, and then I will go back over it and analyze, or at least comment upon what I did. It does help if you start with a pretty song, and this one certainly is. By the way, although jazz players tend to modify or alter somehow, improve upon perhaps, the original harmonies, it's not always necessary to do so, either to play jazz or to make a living. And sometimes when the original harmonies are so rich, it would be a good idea first to master them before you start taking liberties. Notice that we're starting here with a fourth interval, which by itself doesn't sound particularly pretty, but when you add it to other notes in the left hand, notice the rich, remarkable beauty of it. Then we're going down a whole step, and now a simple G minor, F7th, Now again, let's talk about what I did. I repeat what I earlier explained. We start with this discord, which becomes lovely when you add it to this. All we're adding it to is a simple E-flat chord in the bass. Then we go down to the D-flat, and if you want to, you can do the, instead of just that, you can go. And the G minor. Now the again, you can do that half-step lowering thing. Now the composer takes us up here into another key, the key of C. Now we go to the C minor. Remember this thing I told you about before? Here it comes. Top. You've got that E there. The half step down thing. Lovely song. And that's the ending trick I told you about earlier, where instead of just playing the E-flat, you go up a half a step. And let's try that other ending thing where, although you're ending basically on an E-flat, you put the F in the right hand. Lovely. As one more example of the usefulness of this gimmick, considering it now in G minor, there is Johnny Mandel's beautiful ballad, which had it been written in the 1930s would now be a standard. But anyway, it's a gorgeous song. It's called A Time for Love. And notice again how it employs that little harmonic trick. Here it comes. Again. Again. You can usually tell, whether on television or in real life, that a conversation or some proceeding is over because somebody uses the word well. So, well, it looks like that's it for now. The old clock on the wall says we need a new clock on the wall. But that'll do you for now. And of course, you'll be looking at this tape again and again. And each time, this is important, each time you see it, you'll notice something or reinterpret something that you somehow had missed out on the first time. That's true of reading books. If you read a book today and then read the same book a year later, you'll usually be astonished at what a dunce you were in the first reading because there was so much you didn't notice till the second reading. And if you think that's something, wait till you read the book 14 times. Anyway, I do hope this has been useful to you. The point of all this is not to turn you into another Oscar Peterson, but to share with you a few tricks of the trade, as I've said, that I've acquired over the years. Some I drew up out of my own creativity, such as it is, and others were simply shown to me. Teddy Wilson gave me a free lesson, so did Earl Garner on one occasion, and when I was hosting The Tonight Show and Art Tatum was a guest, even he was kind enough to devote about a minute and a half to instructing me. So one of the wonderful things about doing all those talk shows over the years is we had all the great jazz players, and whenever the people were piano players, I spent half the show staring at them and picking up what little I could. Anyway, what they have given to me, I've now shared with you, and in combination with the other instruction tapes, plus the practicing you're doing, and the work with your own teacher or teachers, I hope it all adds up to something worthwhile for you. If it does, maybe drop me a line. Not this week, but later when you've had time to think it over. Thanks very much.